Elon Musk, great to see you. How are you?
Good, how are you? There's a lot of discussion of like this problem or that problem, and a lot of people are sad about the future.
Elon Musk. I have discovered 8 powerful lessons that can inspire anyone who wants to push the boundaries of what's possible. He's launched rockets into space, created electric cars that are changing the automotive industry. Musk has not only shaped the future, he's changed it completely. But how did he get there? What are the secrets behind his success? Well, in today's video, we'll explore the 8 key lessons that I learned from Elon Musk's life and career. These lessons aren't just about business, they're about mindset, perseverance, and thinking big. Whether you are an entrepreneur or just someone looking to do more with your life, these insights will help you unlock your full potential. Let's dive in and discover how these 8 lessons can transform the way you think, work, and dream, just like Elon Musk did it. Need motivation? If you make it to the end of this video, write #HustleNation in the comments and you might get featured in some of our future videos. Also, there's a link in the description to join our Hustle Nation community where we share what's working today in the internet, and we also share weekly prizes to people who take action like you. Let's kick it off with lesson number 1. Success doesn't automatically improve your life.
People globally who want to be like Elon Musk. What's your advice to them?
I think that probably they shouldn't want to be.
You?
I think it sounds better than it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as much fun being me as you'd think. I don't know.
You don't think so?
No. There's definitely, it could be worse for sure, but it's, I'm not sure I'm not sure I want to be me.
Okay.
But if in physics is it's the best framework for understanding things that are counterintuitive, and you know, always taking the position that you are to some degree wrong, and your goal is to be less wrong over time. I think one of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true, even if it isn't true.
Number 2, Elon Musk says showers are the best thing ever.
So I'd like to get inside your head a little bit about, you know, when you come up with an idea, do you doodle it, you know, on a pad of paper, or do you get your iPad out and take notes? I mean, when you come up with something new, you know, a new rocket design or whatever it is, how does that manifest itself? Could we see you being creative?
I mean, it's somewhat cliched, but it happens a lot in the shower. I don't know what it is about showers, or yeah, exactly. Get the camera. Like, yay. No, I mean, I'm just, no, I do. I just kind of stand there in the shower.
So you have long showers?
I do, actually,
create
yeah.
less.
Long showers. Sounds wrong. But, yeah, I do.
So there's no
and of course,
iPad in the
not
shower,
to mention
right?
the Burning Man epiphanies.
Right.
Those are huge. So, yeah, I think that's, yeah. And then there are some times, like late at night, if I've been thinking about something, then I can't sleep, and I'll be up for, you know, for several hours, thinking about sort of pacing around the house and thinking about things, and occasionally I'll sketch something or send myself an email or something like that.
Lesson number 3. Reading is the best thing ever.
Huge reader, but from a lifelong learning perspective, constantly trying to add to your toolkit so that you're, you know, a better leader, a better CEO. Are there recommendations that you have for the audience about those kinds of things that you do to keep yourself mentally sharp?
Well, I read a lot less these days than I used to. When I was a kid, I was read all the time. I mean, I mostly subscribe to scientific periodicals, like the daily news I find to be a lot of noise and just very negative. So I generally try to not read the daily news all that much. Because generally newspapers seem to be trying to answer the question, what is the worst thing that happened on Earth today? It's big, okay? There's a lot of people. Something terrible happened every single day, guaranteed. It's just a big plan. Also, something great happened, but they don't answer that question. So that's the daily news just tends to make one miserable. But I think like the science and technology periodicals are quite interesting, and usually, if there's some new discovery, it'll be in there. So, and I find Twitter enlightening at times. You learn a bit there, and talking to smart people all the time is very helpful. Because that can be a distillation of interesting things that are going on, and certainly like try to ask people like for the car, like what are we doing wrong? What can we fix? What can we make better? And they usually just want to tell me, oh, it's great, I love it. I'm like, but sure, I understand, but what's wrong with it? And like, what can we make better? This is this theory of like, how do we be less wrong?
Lesson 4: have a clear vision.
Like trying to enrich myself. I do not live a life of conspicuous consumption. I work, very long hours, but I think what Tesla's doing is important to the future, and that's why I keep doing it. And I think it's something that I think is Tesla increases the probability that the future will be good for humanity, and then for SpaceX. I think it's important that we take the actions, like that we become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species. This is an exciting, inspiring future. You need to have things that, when you wake up in the morning, you're excited about the future. Why live if it's all about solving problems or being miserable? But why live? So they got to be things that are inspiring, that get you in the heart. And I think space is one of those things. So, look at the Apollo program and, sending people to the moon in '69. And wasn't that a great thing for all of humanity? Great thing. And if you ask people, like, what are some of the greatest things that humanity's ever done, that would be one of them.
Also, to make sure that you're taking action, I have created a free community where you can be with like-minded people who will be sharing all the latest strategies that what's working in the internet right now. Can't wait to see you in the community. I want to hold you accountable so you can be successful too. Lesson 5, his micro-scheduling method.
He did one great tweet about time, saying time is the currency, which I thought was beautiful.
Time is the ultimate currency, yes. No matter what resources you have, you can't wind back the clock.
It's true.
Yeah.
Lesson 6, habits can change.
I think, so when you create a company, I mean, if you think, well, what is a company really? A company is a group of people gathered together to create a product or service. And that's really all a company is. And so you have to really believe in what you're creating, and that it's, and know in your heart and mind that this is something that matters, that and that the world ought to have. And I think it's important to investors to show that you're all in. And I think, for example, with Tesla, the fact that I invested all the money I had, literally I had to borrow money from friends to pay the rent in 2008. The fact that I was all in, I think, made a huge difference to investors, to convince them to invest in Tesla at the same time that say GM and Chrysler were going bankrupt. I think you have to show that you really care. Like it's like that you've got skin in the game, and that you've given it everything that you've got, and then the other people at the company will follow suit, as will investors. I think that's really important.
Lesson 7. Set stretch goals.
What drives you? What is it that when you wake up in the morning, do you see a problem and you want to solve it?
I think the thing that drives me is that I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that. We're doing what we can to have the future be as good as possible, to be inspired by what is likely to happen, and to look forward to the next day. That's what really drives me is trying to figure out how do we make sure that things are great and going to be so, and that's the underlying principle behind Tesla and SpaceX. Is that I think it's pretty important that we accelerate the transition to sustainable generation and consumption of energy. It's inevitable, but it matters if it happens sooner or later. And then SpaceX is about helping make life multiplanetary, and doing what we can to continue the dream of Apollo, and ultimately make a contribution to life becoming multiplanetary.
Lesson 8. Only focus on what's important.
I'd say focus on signal over noise. A lot of companies get confused. They spend money on things that don't actually make the product better. For example, at Tesla, we've never spent any money on advertising. We put all of the money into R&D and manufacturing and design to try to make the car as good as possible.
Guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure that you put #feature below in the comments so you can be the next one that actually get featured on these videos that I do every week. And make sure that you join the community and you tell your friends about the community, because we also give prizes every week whoever shares the link the most. Okay, see you in the community. Take care. This is Coach Johnny.